Hello and welcome to A Brief History of Nothing, Episode 7, Season 4.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Brent. Brent's one of our guests today.
Yes, I'm James. He's Ray, and on this day, yes, what certain thing got patented that we sort of all take for granted.
Yes, well, without it, we wouldn't have carbonated soft drinks. The soda fountain was patented on this day in 1833.
Because the carbon dioxide doesn't magically sort of jump in the bottle.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. What?
No. Oh, you're just ruining my life. Okay, 1916, the Easter Rebellion. The Irish decided that they'd had enough of English rule, or they'd had enough of English rule for a couple of hundred years, and so the Easter Rebellion happened on this day in Dublin in 1916, which basically signified the end. Ireland didn't become independent until the 1920s, but yes,
yeah,
the end started.
They'd headed up to the back teeth and we went, screw the English, out of here.
Yes.
Speaking of the English.
Yes, Winston Churchill was knighted on this day in 1953 by Queen Elizabeth II. And a biggie for Terminator people. The IBM personal computer was introduced on this day in 1981. Skynet began.
Yes. Did we not heed? I mean, the internet. Did we not heed the warning?
Yep.
Oops.
Next thing you know, it's going to be just bombs everywhere.
Yeah, this camera's just going to grow limbs and just attack us. And
it's going to turn ugly.
Yeah.
Or anyway, uglier.
So I'll have to chain down my desktop at home.
Yep.
Just to be sure.
Right. Now, the music world lost a celebrity this week, James.
Yes. A little guy, you might have known him, Prince. You may have known who he was. Last Thursday was found dead in the lift in his home in Paisley Park in Minnesota in the United States. We don't know as yet. They were doing an autopsy, but they don't know what's caused him to just suddenly die. He was feeling unwell. He did have to cancel a concert and then continue with his tour, and he's feeling better, and then his plane had to make an emergency landing randomly. We don't know what happened there. That was about a week and a half ago, and yeah, he's found dead in his elevator. He's had, what has he got? He's got 7 Grammys to his name. He's got 5 Billboard #1s, including How Doves Cry, Kiss, and a few others.
He wrote many songs for other people.
He wrote "You Nothing Compares to You," Sinead O'Connor. That was originally his song.
Yes.
And a couple of Madonna's songs and a couple of things. He's had 14 top 10s, including Raspberry Beret, Little Red Corvette, Purple Rain, a few others. We're a little bit. I was never a raging Prince fan. I think the music world's probably a little bit worse off without him. Yes. And just completely poetically and completely coincidentally, a big rainbow appeared over his compound.
Yeah,
so it sort of seems fitting, really.
Yes, it does. It does.
Timing.
Yes.
And on a different note, here in the sunny state of Queensland in Australia, penalties for Uber drivers have been essentially doubled.
Well, yeah, I think it was about 1,400. Wasn't quite doubled. There were about 1,400 for the driver, and I can't remember what was for the person actually administering for Uber themselves. But it's now about 2,400 for the driver, and about 25 grand for Uber. The only trouble is catching them.
Well, the Queensland Police could prosecute this a little more vigorously than they do. Queensland Police have a history of being a little selective in their prosecuting.
Yep. And I was at one of the major pubs out here, on the other side of Brisbane, because that's where I actually work, on the other side of Brisbane primarily as a cab driver, and there were several police cars near this pub, and many people summoning Ubers, and not a lot of tickets being handed out.
Well, in fact, not a lot would have equated to what? None?
Yeah, none would have been more appropriate. Again, look, if it doesn't stick, this is the thing, this is what a lot of people in the police service, Queensland Transport, what they don't understand, Queensland Transport being the government department, that's what it's called here. It's not like a company called Queensland Transport. Just wanted to sort of...
It's the Department of Transport.
Department of Transport, yeah. It's what they don't understand...
A company. You mentioned the Department of Transport as a company. Oh my God.
Oh God, no, that would just fail. Yes, the motor registries here are just as frustrating as everywhere else in the world, so we know the feels.
A touchscreen ticketing system would be pretty good though.
Yeah.
Remember when they brought that in?
Yes. So the problem is that they don't understand that even if not a lot of these tickets like stick, a lot of these offences like stick in court, you're still tying up their legal resources. You're still costing Uber money.
Yes, and they're interested in profit. Look, okay, if we wouldn't be on Uber's case, and ride sharing in general's case, if it was a level playing field. Taxi drivers have a lot more expenses built in because they have regulations they have to follow.
Yeah.
Therefore, they can't match Uber and the other ride sharing in price because it's just not feasible for the drivers.
Yeah.
But so if the Uber drivers, they'll let them be drivers, but let them pay the same costs as taxi drivers have to pay.
But then Uber will just collapse under its own weight.
Yes, that's exactly right. It is only a success. It's only a success because it skirts and bypasses laws and regulations that legitimate taxi drivers have to abide by.
Yeah. I mean, the cab industry could be doing a lot better though. I mean, I think the
possibly, but
yeah.
But the main thing is that the ride sharing apps are successful because they're cheaper, and the reason they're cheaper is because they're not on a level playing field with
But
actual...
the problem is, people only see the price.
That's exactly right. They only see the price.
They don't understand the nuances. So if a cab has to pay about $3,400 a year in what's called your compulsory third party, that means that's for people's injuries. Yeah. So it's called Class 3. So it's for passenger vehicles doing commercial work. So if a passenger is injured in an accident, they're covered.
Yes. Well,
in an Uber, you get injured in a crash in an Uber. Good luck to you.
Yeah,
you're going to have to sue the driver.
Yeah, and it's amazing what they don't cover in personal injuries on and third-party insurance.
There was a case, and I probably mentioned this, but it's also happened in a couple of American states, but most notably in Toronto, in Ontario, in Canada. There was a guy who it wasn't his fault. Another driver ran a red light, but this guy was the guy that wasn't at fault was an Uber driver, had a passenger. His own insurance company went, sorry, you're doing this on a commercial basis, you're not covered. And then Uber turned around and said, okay, well you don't have an insurance policy, so we're not covering you either.
Wow.
So he had a wrecked car. Yeah, just completely abandoned. With no job, no car, nothing.
Yeah, well, and you have to have a late model vehicle to be an Uber driver, so he would have had repayments on that vehicle.
Exactly.
So yes, for a little bit of extra cash, he cost himself an awful lot of heartache.
I remember a story about an Uber driver over in the US. These guys got an Uber, and there was a crash on during the journey, right? Uber's fault, the Uber driver's fault of the crash. So they just got out and got a cab home the rest of the way. They still got charged for the entire fare. Even though he had a crash and they got out, everything. They still got charged the entire thing.
Yep.
And, there's nothing they can do about it.
That's it. Exactly right.
Okay, now, tomorrow is the 25th of April, ANZAC Day. As an ex-serviceman, it's an important day for me. It commemorates Australian and New Zealand landing at ANZAC Cove on the 25th of April 1915. I had a great uncle that was not in the original landing, but he landed about a fortnight later.
Yeah.
But he was still on Gallipoli. He was killed in early May 1915.
Yeah, the Allies just lost it because they had such heavy losses. And my great times too, uncle. Didn't he ran out of ammunition?
Yes. So he was at Queen's Post with the rest of his his unit, and yes, they ran out of. They were fighting the Turks, and literally ran out of ammunition, and therefore were then killed by the Turks.
Yeah.
Wow.
It got to the point where
There was actually an inquiry in 1916 about that, and we've subsequently found from records at the War Memorial.
yes, and also the what was I about to say? Yeah, there had to be ceasefires between the Turks and the Allies because they just lost so many people on both sides.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there were for no man's land, so dead could be collected. The interesting thing was that yes, it was a Turkish victory, but if you look at the actual losses of men involved, yes, the Turks held the ground, but it was quite a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah.
In as much as the loss of life they had actually had compared to the Allies was huge.
I mean, even the Ottoman Empire was winding up by the time World War I came around anyway.
Yes, it was
So-
so much on its knees. Yes.
Pretty much. Anyway, on a slightly brighter note,
Yes, birthdays on this day.
birthdays on this day. The 1533, William I of Orange,
Yes.
and born and died in 1584.
Yep. Eric Rader. He went on to become the head of the German Navy during World War II. Was born on this day in 1876. Now, William Joyce, Irish novelist, was born on this day in 1906.
You may have heard of a little thing called Prometheus.
No, it wasn't Prometheus.
It what
Ulysses.
Ulysses. Sorry, that's my bad.
Yes. Okay, 1934. American actress Shirley MacLaine and sister of Warren Beatty was born. In 1942, Barbara Streisand was born on this day. And last but not least, for all those people who follow cricket, 1973 Sachin Tendulkar was born on this day. Alright, that's another episode done and dusted. If you like us, hit like. Also, what's your channel, Brent?
Check out Tensor Gaming on YouTube.
Yes.
So gaming videos.
If you're into gaming, check out Brent's channel.
Yes.
Yes, we'll see you in the dark side.
Thank you very much.
We got cookies. Bye.